Hello and welcome to Monday Morning Motivation. In Matthew chapter 5, we have what is commonly known as Jesus' Sermon on the Mount, and in it we find the well-loved Beatitudes, which describe 9 character traits of those who belong to the kingdom Jesus came to usher in. On the very surface, the Beatitudes can be seen as God's prescription for a life that is filled with prosperity and all the good things life can offer, but this is not the case at all. They can also be mistakenly seen as Jesus' way of countering the Old Testament law, but again, this is not the case. Rather, the Beatitudes teach what God's kingdom really looks like and shows that it is in direct opposition and counterculture to all that the world offers. In fact, the Beatitudes can be seen as radical in that they are completely contrary to everything society promotes as great goals, ambition, success, and prosperity. The Sermon on the Mount and the Beatitudes give God's original intention for right relationship with Him, restoring His divine order for all those who desire to walk uprightly before Him. These 9 pronouncements by Jesus exalt and promise eternal wealth over the temporary fleeting riches of this world. They contrast and counter real faith with the superficial faith of the religious leaders of that day. And they show what true righteousness is versus that of man-made religion that mainly focuses on do's and don'ts, but really do nothing to free a person from the bondage of sin. Each of these values that Jesus lists in Matthew 9 build upon each other, and they're all interconnected. It is not merely a list that we get to pick and choose which one to keep and which is our individual benchmark. They are to be taken in their entirety as a collective whole, much like the fruit of the Spirit. For in the Beatitudes, we can see where the 9 aspects of the fruit of the Spirit listed in Galatians chapter 5 verse 22 and to 23 are to be demonstrated at all times. Not only are these Beatitudes a code of ethics and a standard for all believers according to one author, but they are also the reality of what was foreshadowed in the expectations and demands of the Old Testament law. The Beatitudes are the uncompromising, non-negotiable plumb line of God's kingdom, and ultimately they point us to the perfect example in Jesus. In Him we find that these Beatitudes are not some high, impossible to fulfill kingdom standard, but rather in Him and through Him, every kingdom citizen can fully meet each expectation. The beauty of being a citizen of the kingdom is that we never have to do life on our own. While there is a responsibility on our part, God never leaves us without help or empowerment. This is the wonderful difference of His kingdom. You see, the world tells us to strive for happiness and prosperity, to have lofty ambitions and to make great goals that are smart, to strive and to achieve all that is in your heart, to spare no expense and don't hold back from pursuing whatever is in our hearts to do. The world emphasizes self-promotion, pride, and personal independence above everything else. With its glitter and glamour, it draws us to come and taste of its power and to drink deep from its great sensual pleasures, ever enticing us to take more and more until we are drunk with it. What it does not and can never show us are all the repercussions and fallouts of a life that is lived like this. Repercussions not just here on earth, but also in eternity. In these Beatitudes and in the Sermon on the Mount, Jesus expands not only on the here and now benefits of His kingdom, but also on the eternal blessings and favor of life lived under His lordship. He teaches that a life lived for selfish ambition and in pursuit of a worldly pleasure will never bring lasting gains. Never. While it's beneficial to set goals and to seek to be excellent in whatever we do, these should never be prioritized over God's kingdom and His ways. His kingdom and His standards should never be at the expense of us having it our way and doing our own thing. God's blessings, as in His favor and covering over our lives, His joy and His peace will never come upon that which smells and looks like society's standards, because His kingdom is always diametrically opposed to the kingdom of this age and of this world. If you're living according to God's standard, know that you are blessed indeed. And please know that with God's blessing upon your life, you are wealthier than the richest sinner on this planet. You have more influence, more power, and more authority behind you than the most influential, powerful sinner that society can offer up. With God's blessing upon you, the world may deem you as strange, insignificant, and unknown, but let me encourage you today and affirm that you are not. You are blessed and you are highly favored. You are accepted and known by God. His blessing doesn't mean an absence of trouble or difficulties, but it means that in the midst of it and in spite of it, because you are blessed, you are not alone. God is with you. His blessings means that though the world may see you as insignificant, you are not insignificant. You are very important. They may see you as nothing, but God sees you as special. Circumstances may make you sorrowful, yet you can always have joy. You may not be financially well off, and in fact, you may have nothing by this world's standards. But when you have God's blessing, these blessings make you rich and add no sorrow. With His blessings, you possess everything you need for life and godliness. So declare it today. I am blessed and I am highly favored, for the Lord is with me. Amen. Amen. This has been Monday Morning Motivation. Join me again next Monday at 6 o'clock in the morning for another devotional. Have a wonderful week.